Barcelona are well on course to secure themselves as one of the 8 best sides in the Champions League so far, which would ensure immediate passage to the last 16 of the competition. They defeated Borussia Dortmund 3-2 after a mighty battle at Signal Iduna Park. Barcelona had the better of the play in the first half, although they could not manage to find a way through.
However, it mattered little as they broke the deadlock only 8 minutes into the second period as Rafinha raced through before firing beyond Gregor Kobel. The visitors could not hold their lead for long as Dortmund forced an equalizer on the hour mark. Barca inexplicably conceded a penalty, which was converted by Serhou Guirassy.
Ferran Torres was introduced in the 71st minute by Flick, and not long after, he scored to re-establish Barcelona's lead. However, it was relinquished against as Guirassy found his second of the evening. Barcelona were not to be denied, and Ferran scored again late on, and that was the winner. It is a result that sees them rise to second in the league phase standings. Now let's have a look at game through tactical analysis. Flick went with our strongest lineup, as he should. Dortmund began by pressing aggressively, however, we bypassed their press comfortably because their pressing structure focused on our right side, which we usually rely on. Flick smartly shifted our build-up to the left, exploiting the spaces Dortmund left there.
Guirassy marked Kubarsi, and Sabitzer pressed Inigo, but because Sabitzer is a midfielder, he often arrived late, giving Inigo more freedom, and also Sabitzer pressing high left one of our midfielders without marking, usually Pedri, because he was the one leaning to the left.
We always had numerical advantage in build-up from the left, and this setup helped us create several chances, and we could have got a lead if it wasn't for our poor finishing. This led for Dortmund to abandon their press and retreat into their half.
With Sabitzer joining Guirassy up front, Dortmund's defensive structure was identical to ours even at that point. We were able to quickly create a 3v2 numerical advantage in midfield, which made centre progression simple. The problem was that we failed to capitalize on Rafinha's runs behind their high line, opting for safer passes instead. Flick's approach in this half prioritized control over directness, conserving energy but missing opportunities to exploit Dortmund's high defensive line.
Our strategy was to advance centrally, then get the ball outside and depend on our wide threat. Because to Yalmo's creativity and Kaun's assistance, our right side continued to be the most threatening. However, Bald's minimal contribution in the last third caused the left side to struggle.
In our pressing, Flick's tactical adjustments were evident. Normally, both wingers press the centre-backs, while Lewandowski and Olmo press the pivots, leaving space for the opponent's wingers. Against Dortmund, only one winger pressed high, while Yamal stayed with his fullback.
This adjustment limited Dortmund's build-up from wide areas, particularly on their left, where Kaun was free from high-pressing roles, so he effectively neutralized Gittins. However, on the right, Duranville frequently found space in 1v1 against Balde, creating a lot of danger.
At the end of the half, Dortmund began exploiting weaknesses in Flick's pressing structure. The new system made it harder for them to build wide but easier to progress centrally, as Lewandowski's less intense pressing on the centre-backs compared to how Yamal presses in the usual system.
Also occasionally, the press from Pedri or Casado came late, especially when their midfielders dropped deep. It's hard for our pivots to follow them, and this gave their midfielders more freedom and eased their build-up, so they were able to create some danger.
Going into the second half, Dortmund continued their central build-up, as seen at the end of the first half, effectively bypassing our press. With Louis and Rafinha showing signs of fatigue, our counter-pressing intensity dropped, allowing them to attack and keep possession more comfortably.
We struggled in the build-up as Dortmund shifted their pressing focus to our left side, nullifying the numerical advantage we created earlier. While Guirassy continued marking Kubarsi, forcing us to build from the left, where Dortmund had compacted their press.
With no numerical superiority, we relied heavily on the individual brilliance of Pedri to escape tight spaces and deliver a precise long ball, or just advance the ball to Olmo like what happened in our first goal. But such moments are rare and unsustainable throughout the game.
That's why we struggled in consistently beating their press, but when we did, their high press left large spaces in behind, so attacking opportunities became easier to exploit, leading to more dangerous chances compared the first half, with also better finishing from our attackers.
And that's the reason we were able to score 3 goals and create more danger in general in the second half, despite having much less control. Also, their focus on pressing our left side gave Yamal and Count more freedom on the right, which contributed to our second goal.
Defensively, we struggled, particularly with crosses. Flick's reliance on the offside trap as the primary strategy for defending crosses proved risky and ineffective. This approach led to Dortmund's penalty and most of their dangerous moments. Opponents are increasingly prepared for our offside trap, especially with midfielders' runs.
The offside trap should primarily target attackers, while for midfielders making late runs, defenders need to mark them instead of trying to trap them like in what happened in their second goal. Flick's substitutions of Ferran and Furman added fresh legs, which added more intensity to our pressing, but Dortmund were still able to bypass it, because the problem was more in the structure rather than the intensity.
This subs added pace that improved our ability to counterattack and exploit Dortmund's defensive gaps, especially Ferran, who was able to score 2 goals from the 2 chances he got. The sub of Frenkie was because Flick wanted to keep Pedri deep on the left while adding another controller who can support the build-up from the right, but things didn't work as expected, and he wasn't able to add much in that role. Barca have already secured approximately €29.1 million from this season's UCL campaign. Participating clubs earn €18.62 million just for qualifying, €2.1 million for each win, and €700,000 for each draw in the league phase. If Barca finish in the top 8, they'll earn an extra €2 million, while those ranked 9 to 24 will only get €1 million each. Additionally, clubs receive €11 million for reaching the row 16, €12.5 million for the quarters, €15 million for the semis, and €18.5 million for making the final. If Barca finish first in the league phase, they'll gain an extra €9.9 million under UEFA's new incentive program.
To conclude, in both halves, we attacked well and created numerous dangerous opportunities, even when control slipped away in the second half. However, defensively, there's significant room for improvement. Teams are now clearly aware of our offside trap strategy and are exploiting it effectively. This means we need to execute it more precisely.
Lamine Yamal is insane and out of this world.
He makes iconic triangular pass look so easy and execute it perfectly every game now.
He is so dangerous. We are blessed to have him.
What are your thoughts on the game? Comment down below.
Now focus shifts toward La Liga. Subscribe for more.